You're good.
Now we're good. So take two, as the recording was not live at the time, we did call the meeting to order at 7 PM. There was a motion by Schneider, a second by Prakash to approve the claims for payment as well as the minutes from the October meeting. There was no additional discussion and the motion passed. We are now at land use permits, storage shed for J. Berg Sales. Maintenance has no issues with what is presented.
What are the setbacks in the highway commercial? They're different than residential.
Like, I remember that.
He's going farther away from the road than his existing.
Oh, okay. But I guess I was wondering the distance between the two buildings.
And we're on the back side of the lot,
They're going on the south side.
it's 30 feet from the property line,
Yeah, it's 30 from.
or 30 feet from staying with property line, and then
So it'd be
So
one
it's
two.
equal with that.
5 feet from.
I don't know what the B two, this is different than residential, that's why I
It can't be more than 30 feet, is it?
I don't know.
Let me go digging through the ordinance quick.
Should be somewhere where to find it, because I can't read that fast.
Good for once, after B two, it'll be the next one. Yeah, B two. Stand still on to that.
I just
What they are.
no approximation.
Setback, building line 45, side, rear 30, yep.
Okay. Oh. Perfect. 30 foot. Surprised it's that far.
Motion to approve, the permit for Berg.
Second. Yep.
Motion and second to approve the land use permit for J. Berg Sales. Any further discussion? None heard, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Open forum. Anyone here to speak on an issue not currently on the agenda? No? All right, moving on to the Sheriff's Department quarterly update.
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Jason. See you guys.
Jason Abbott for the Sheriff's Office. I think the contract report was sent out for the month of October. We're a little light in hours for the month of October, but overall for the 2025 year cumulative, we were at 64, almost 65 hours a week for the month of October. No significant events in town, some medicals, some other disturbance issues, but nothing of serious concern. I know that there had been a question at a past council meeting about blight, where blight was at. Just a little bit of a discussion on that, looking for council's input. We don't have any real trouble properties. There is one, a house at 651 9th Street South. It's northeast corner of 9th and Fur. The house is in fairly poor condition, deteriorated, approaching the point where we may have to look at abatement on it. Just something to put on your radar. That is at 651 9th Street South. Other than that, the majority of our issues tend to be reoccurring issues with either accumulating junk, parking vehicles at unimproved surfaces, old lawnmowers, things like that. That just tend to be habitual problems. In the past, we would issue citations, which would be a city ordinance violation that would be payable to the city of Rhode Island for $50. We've had a lot of issues, in my opinion, with getting follow through. There's not really a lot of recourse for issuing those cites. People, if they don't pay them, there's not a lot of accountability to it. One of the things that I would like to see all of our contract cities do is have the citations loaded in the state system so that we would issue a state citation, and it would be a fine that would be payable to the courts, and it just holds some accountability. If the fine wouldn't be paid, then the courts would take care of attempting to collect on that citation. Question.
Isn't there something in statute currently that says after 3 city admin sites, then it can automatically go as a state citation. I thought there was something about that in
Not that
statute.
I'm aware of. In the past, we've always issued these cites and it got to be so bad that we ended up in abatement eventually. What I would like to see us do is be more aggressive on issuing state citations. I think the word would spread and hopefully gain better compliance. So these properties don't get to be the point where we have to abate them because it's gone on for years
I
and
think that's
years.
vehicle stuff that are on public streets.
But I think, yeah, this discussion, I thought, maybe I'm wrong, that we agreed to, I thought that's what we were gonna do.
Yeah.
So,
Let's just go with the
So
state
one
citation.
of the problems that we're running into is that it's currently in the city ordinance under a misdemeanor with a $50 fine.
okay.
If it's gonna be a $50 fine, which I think is appropriate, it has to be listed as a petty misdemeanor. Otherwise, misdemeanor has to be 300. So either the fine has to be lifted up to $300 misdemeanor, or it's gotta be dropped to a petty misdemeanor and at $50. So that's just one discussion point. The other part is there's gonna be some expense. The city attorney is the one that's gonna have to learn into the state system, enter the ordinances, which in my opinion, there's gonna be an upfront expense having them do that. But then from that point on, we as a sheriff's office can issue the citation, which is a summons to court or a fine, and then the city attorney necessarily wouldn't need to be involved unless the person wants to dispute the citation or we'd enter into that abatement process where the problem isn't correcting itself. We now are gonna get an order like we've done with other properties in Rhode Island and abate it.
So is your recommendation for blight only or all public nuisance type things? So the
All public
dog
nuisance,
things,
the dogs, the vehicles with expired registration on private property, which is in my opinion, a blight category. Just some of these problem properties where it's just time and time and time again. And it could be more for discussion, but like I said, one thing is, do we have the city attorney load that into the system? Do we update the city ordinances where we either make it a petty misdemeanor with a $50 fine, a payable fine, or move it to 300 and a misdemeanor? Obviously, the city attorney could, you know, if it would go to court, could reduce the $300 fine to, if you clean the property up, the fine will be, could be waived. I mean, that's ultimately their decision.
So we have to amend, so we just have to decide one or the other. What do you recommend?
I would really like to see the ordinances amended, just
To what?
to be a petty
to
misdemeanor.
petty misdemeanor with a state fine. Just like I said, there's some accountability to that. It takes a little bit of pressure off the city clerk when you have to, you know, deal with upset customers. And there's the part of the follow through.
So don't we have our fees, isn't that a resolution, is that what you're showing us,
This is
Tracy?
the one where it comes, we have a fee schedule, but
I
these
think-
aren't on that one.
So I think the ordinance probably says misdemeanor, but then we have a separate resolution that has the fees,
Yes.
is that correct?
And talking to Griffin,
Okay.
from the city attorney, he said that it need to be a payable fine, so people wouldn't necessarily have to go to court over it. It's a fine that's payable. Right now, Griffin believes that the way it's currently structured is that it would need to trigger a court date where the city attorney would have to come down, appear in court, and I don't think that's necessary, for the first few violations.
So as a payable offense, they can pay it or ask for that court date. What happens if they don't pay it and they don't show up to court? Is it then, as a petty misdemeanor, it doesn't fall into the criminal stuff? They're not gonna have a warrant issued because they,
No, then the courts would,
so what happens?
the courts would go to collection, enter it into collection, try to collect through collections. If you go to a misdemeanor, then that's an arrestable offense and then could go to warrants.
We would still have an option to, we're not getting anywhere to do an abatement.
Right.
So that would be. Because if so, you could just see that going on and on, don't show up, then they issue, then it goes to collections and that, nothing happens of that, and it just.
It is, but I think that it will hopefully, it's still, nobody wants to be, but most people don't wanna deal with that, I hope that they
It's
just
still a
take.
paper trail as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And I
that's
hope
what it will
that
be,
people take the
then.
steps to address the properties and
Yeah.
word would spread that hopefully we get better compliance.
But so when you scan through that, did that have a date of like 2009?
9, I think it
Yeah.
said 9.
Yeah, so
That one
that
did.
may
That was
need
the
to be looked
resolution.
at.
Yeah, that was the resolution for the ordinance fines. The fees for the ordinances.
But if we're changing it to petty misdemeanor, that has to, the ordinance has to be changed then.
We can continue to do some more work under work with Tracy to try to look at some of the specific ordinances, identify which ones we would wanna make payable. And
And come up with a plan for a vote for next meeting, maybe?
kind of an overhaul in the process, but I think in the end, once it's done,
Yeah.
I think it'll be a.
Oh, yeah,
better
we
process.
have to have a way to make it work. Whatever it takes.
Well, I mean, we want to see more accountability.
Yeah.
And make it easier to make people be accountable.
Unless you guys have any concerns for us, that's all I have. Do you have any concerns or issues? For you? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. moving on to the Splash Island update.
So I forwarded you forward you all the letter that we had gotten from the Splash Island regarding, what their plans are for the future. So I'll just kind of let you read through it if you haven't yet. I also had submitted our last reimbursement to the state, and we've had some back and forth on there, so I can try to give you some updated numbers with a guesstimation of what I think we are going to get from the state, but I don't have a final amount just yet.
But everything's been submitted to the state.
Everything has been submitted, and so then now we're doing that back and forth game with the state on them having questions on different things. And telling us if they're, no, you can't use that type of thing.
How quickly are you thinking we'll hear something?
I was really hopeful I could get some sort of answer from them by the time we have our meeting.
Okay.
But I don't know how long it's going to take them to go back through what I or send them for answers on stuff, so I'm just on that waiting game.
So if these numbers are correct, the grand total that you have, 625.
That's what the state is allowing,
Okay,
For
so
that
far,
grand
so
yes,
if that all works out, then 50% of that would come back to the city, is that correct?
right, and so I have the
Okay.
amount of what we received,
Okay.
and then what I'm guesstimating would be what we're going to receive, if we get that full amount. Which is kind of why it's in the other colored box.
So,
It's not, yeah, that 187 is what I'm,
Was that our actual or
no, 'cause
that was in the
No.
proposed?
the grand total is the 731.
and that includes all of the donated labor
From
and
there's, okay.
everything.
Donated.
So it's too early to tell how much the city's gonna have invested for a final number.
Yeah, I don't have quite that just yet, and I don't know what, I don't have a number exactly from the Splash Island of what they're have left in their account that they're sending us. So those are kind of two pieces that are hanging out there to have that final number.
Now, if you want to have actual dollars, you have to take the total, subtract off all the in-kind,
Yep, and,
Yeah,
subtract off all the
Yeah.
grants.
and that's kind of what I've tried to do
Yeah,
towards the
And
bottom.
then this, yeah, and then the stuff for the utilities that this is gonna pay for.
mhm.
Some don't pay. I'm not sure I'm reading, so what would that number be? Well, you subtracted off the denied amount. That's still
So
It's gotta be paid for, so,
I tried to kind of get that amount, already.
okay. Sorry, I was trying to get
so-
quick.
It's for sure, the 116.
Oh, we
but
already
that-
paid that.
Yep, and that's included in,
Those-
includes their, like the guys' time and all
Oh,
of that stuff.
okay,
So in that 116, it includes the materials and labor from down here. And then if we potentially could add the 50 or 66,000, but we know we're getting some money from the splash pad. I just don't know how much they have left that they plan on sending us. But I know they don't have the full amount.
they don't have the 66. So for us to zero out is what you mean, we'd have to get 66 from them.
Right.
Does that sound right? Yeah. So
So if we get 66,000 from them, then we agreed to pay the 116,600.
Yes,
That
in,
was
in
what
that
our-
116.6, that includes the looping to get the water
time.
and
Yeah.
with all the guys' time in there, plus what we've spent for other infrastructure to get that there.
Okay. Well, can we get that, can we ask, I mean, if they've quit fundraising, they've closed the account, I think it said, where is the money if the account is closed?
They haven't closed it and sent it to us yet, but they are supposed to be,
Well, it's not gonna be that much.
No.
So, we know that.
Did the state give any idea of a time frame when they were have things finalized and?
they're working on it on our last submit, like I said, they sent out some questions about what I had submitted, so I answered those questions and now it's them reviewing what I had sent them, and I'm hoping the next email back is gonna be, okay, everything is good to go, here's the dollar amount that you're gonna get from us.
I have a question on the winterization of the, she commented out that the city hired another plumber, and it wasn't a plumber that doesn't have a license, does that matter?
So the RPZ,
What does that
Needs-
stand for?
what does the RPZ stand for?
It's a backflow protection.
Oh,
valve.
yes.
It's a RPZ is reducing pressure zone.
So you need to be licensed to adjust it. We're not adjusting it.
Oh,
We left it where it is. We blew the water out of it.
okay.
I did have another plumber come in because the 3 water heaters didn't have drains in them. So he and I talked, we set up couplers because everything was hard plumbed in. So the 3 water heaters are sitting over in the ambulance shed now, drained and in a heated building. So there's no worries about
Oh,
them
so they
freezing.
just been disconnected and
They
moved
just,
out of
yeah,
there?
and it's just a simple, we put them back together in the spring, we don't need a plumber to put them back together. Don't have to touch the RPZ, so there's no need for a licensed plumber to do anything with that either.
So you said the system was just drained and blown out,
Everything's been blown out.
so it's just a matter of turning it back on?
Well, putting it back, putting things back in and then turning it back on in spring.
Calibration that has to occur with the settings after that happens?
Shouldn't be, because everything will be the same thing. Shouldn't be any reason for it. If there's an issue, then we'll call a plumber that has a license for the RPZ. Don't see that being an issue.
Right. Any additional questions on Splash Island update?